a lot of smoke. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have a Ardbeg Supernova. Here on my cask, it's a small sample I got from the distillery. So this one is the 5th bottling of Ardbeg Supernova, and it was bottled in 2015. The Ardbeg Supernova had been an experiment at the Ardbeg distillery where they tried to put as much peated peat on the barley for the production of the Ardbeg. And so they resulted in 100 ppm peat content of the barley for the production. This one was bottled at 54.3 ABV and is limited, and it's only available through the Ardbeg committee. And this is said to be the 5th and the final bottling of the Ardbeg Supernova. There had been a press release of the Ardbeg Supernova in mid-September or early September 2015, and I was on vacation, so I did not have the time to taste this whiskey. I was away. I was traveling with an electric car from the North Cape to Tarifa in Spain. And so this bottle should have been out here on YouTube a month earlier, but as I said, I'm afraid not. So from my profession, I'm a rocket scientist. I studied mechanical engineering with a specialization of rocket science, and they introduced this last bottling of the Ardbeg Supernova together with their experiment they did on the ISS, the International Space Station, where they put a small sample of Ardbeg together with some, par of oak, together in small glass fields or ampoules, whatever, and they stored it for less than 3 years, so it's no whiskey. It wasn't in a cask, so there's only oak and whiskey in microgravity. So in the space station, there's no influence of gravity, and you can imagine if you mature a cask in a warehouse on the Isle of Isla at Ardbeg, and I traveled to Ardbeg, have a look at the distillery here. We flew by helicopter into the distillery, wonderful, and we had a hike up on the mountains to Loch Urgedal, where the water for Ardbeg is coming from. Yeah, and then they returned these samples from space, and they compare it with samples they stored on Earth. So they had a scientific investigation if the maturation in microgravity is different to the maturation on Earth. And yes, there had been some differences, but if I read through the press release, then I have to say most of the analytical data was the same. Just in one case, they were able to see differences in the gas chromatography. I think it was, not quite sure. But in the sensorial, impressions by Dr. Bill Lumsden, there had been significant differences between maturation in space and on Earth. Of course, they had to. I'm sure there are differences because gravity brings some separation of compounds in the liquid in the cask. So on the below there are the more heavy compounds, and on the top there will be the lighter ones, and they will act differently to the cask. And there is, of course, a difference between a small sample, glass sample, in a nanocube on the space station, and a free Isla air-breathing cask in a warehouse of Ardbeg. There had to be a difference because the air breathing is different, and if you hear astronauts telling about the smell in the ISS, it's not that good. So perhaps they are smelling the feet. No, I haven't said that. Okay. So I see that this experiment was part of the marketing machine at Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, which is the parent company of Ardbeg. So they are investing money for microgravity, maturation to promote their own whiskey, which is a normal thing, but you have to be aware of that. So here we go. Here's the Ardbeg, and the sample is 100 milliliters, not for resale, I'm afraid, and 45.3% ABV. And be aware, this one has 100 ppm of peat smoke, so that's a lot. There are only very few whiskies which have more, and with these very intense peated whiskies, I'm not very happy with, because they are so over intense. So this one, I think there had been a period of only a short time where they produced the Supernova, so this one should be the oldest they have. So there has time passed, so there should be a lot of influence from the cask walls in this whiskey. And please be told again, this whiskey has not been in space. There are only small samples been in space, and only a very few privileged people were able to smell on those samples. Yes. Ardbeg is always uncolored, and you can see it took already quite a lot of color. So it's a lot darker than the Ardbeg 10 years old. So it lay a lot of time in the cask, and it has 54.3% ABV. So this brings darker color as well. A lot of smoke and a friendly, pleasant smoke. I just had a weird, extremely smoky whiskey before, and it smelled as Red Army diesel exhaust. This one is friendly, aromatic herbs, smoked fruit. It's pleasant to my nose compared to the other one. Yes. So if you do not like the aroma of smoke, this is no whiskey for you. This is extremely. The Ardbeg 10 years old has 55 ppm of smoke, parts per million, in the barley they used for production, and this one has roughly twice as much. But I'm missing the oakiness. I'm missing the spice of the oak. So I have no idea how old this whiskey will be. Just a little bit, just to bring it down to 50. Yeah. Not that intense any longer, so the smokiness reduces with water. That's not always true. Some whiskies explode in terms of smokiness if you add water. Yes. Now there's a little bit of remembrance of salt. There are no close to none medicinal notes. Oh, very close to 50. Very strong on my tongue. Very intense. And the typical Ardbeg sweetness. If you empty a glass of Ardbeg and then you let it dry overnight, in the morning you smell again at the glass, then you have this typical Ardbeg sweetness. And here the sweetness is in the taste. Really sweet. The aftertaste shows some spices. Officially it's said in peppery aftertaste. No. Probably at full cask strength. Oh, no, it's not cask strength. It's, I think, diluted to 54.3. So it's high strength, or cask strength. And there shall be some chili spice in it. No. A little bit of tar, yes, in the aftertaste. Yeah. Wow. It's too much smoke. So I'm no member of the Ardbeg committee, and I do not buy those bottles offered there. They are quite expensive. I think this one is a 125 pounds for a young whiskey. Well, you have to pay for this extra space experiment. No, I don't think so. I think those space experiments is booked on the on the average costs of Ardbeg. But you have to pay for the small amount of bottles issued here and the extreme 100 ppm of phenol. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for watching. There's more to come, and I don't think so that we'll see some extreme peated whiskey again here in my cask in the next month. Yeah, thank you for watching, and if you want to discuss this bottle with me, please do so on Whisky.com in our vlog or in our forum. I stopped discussing whiskey here in the comments of YouTube. Thank you very much.